What's up, world?
I just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
They
Insert here.
Yo.
It's a terrible game. Bottom line. It's terrible in every way. Graphically, it's terrible. Gameplay is terrible. It's just terrible.
Angry Nick mad.
That game sucked, and it's gonna suck no matter how many revisions they make, and it just sucked even more because they put a Connect with it.
Angry Nick mad. Or if there's violence, I'll just laugh and enjoy the fun.
Kaz Hazari.
Kaz Harai.
They just kind of got tired of Angry Nick on the first one and say, I'm going to pass.
Oh, yeah, so I do. Precisely.
No.
I
No.
do all my work.
No.
And
You guys are
unfortunately,
so
I don't.
cute.
Oh, thank you. I try.
I mean, let's face it, Mario and to a lesser extent Zelda is what carries Nintendo at this point.
Always be radical.
I love you, little podcast. You're the bestest thing ever. For the promise of a new Super Smash Bros. And the Zelda game, yes.
You will not find a better story presented in any other game genre, in my personal opinion. Like, JRPGs have that. They have that story.
That's what the entire game felt like. Oh my god, I want to bang my head into a wall.
It's a podcast again? Can someone remind me? I thought it was a video game podcast.
You're listening to the Game Source Podcast.
He's here spiritually?
I guess Angry Nick is here spiritually, but thank goodness he's not here in person. But don't let him hear me say that. Hey, it's Gerald, better known as Yes Elvis Lives. It's Game Source Podcast number 128 at yourgamesource.com, at Game Source on Twitter, and also Game Source on Facebook. And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend. It's Josh Peterson.
What's up, guys?
I was like, we're at third real quickly. There you go. First thing I want to talk about is actually your book. Your book, Josh. It's an awesome book called Vendetta Dark. We reviewed it on our last podcast, number 127. You get a chance, check it out. A lot of great things from that book. But I'll let you speak. You're the man. You're the author. It's garnered a lot of sales. I'm really happy for your success with the book. So tell us a little bit more about Vendetta Dark.
Okay, well, I've always been a fan of, comic books that involve kind of darker themes to them. That whole idea of good versus evil, and how do you fight something like that? And that's kind of what I wanted to explore with Vendetta Dark. So it was really my attempt to take a comic book style and mix it with a mystery novel. And I hope it came out well. We'll see what everyone else thinks of it. But the story basically revolves around a secret society. You have a pharmaceutical company, a detective, a kid who dies and is brought back to life by a compound that basically gives him these extraordinary abilities. And it's there's a lot of stuff at it's really hard to explain, but there's a lot of stuff at play there. And it's I don't want to give too much away, so I encourage you guys to pick it up. And if you like it, if you don't like it, please leave some comments. Let me know, and then you can pick it up on Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble. You can get it in both ebook formats, Kindle, Nook, whatever you prefer. And it's $4.99 for Nook and $14.99 in paperback.
And if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's actually free. So that's a great deal. It's a great book. We really wish you the best with everything with the book. And I know you got some things coming down the pipeline as well as far as other books that you like to delve into. And I just wish you the best on that. It's just awesome to see that you're thanking everyone out there who's purchasing the book. Just you going and taking that step forward and taking that extra step and appreciating the readers for allowing them to get the opportunity to read your book. It's tremendous, and I wish you all the best with that.
Yeah, thank you. It's it's not even really the money I care about. Just as long as people read it and they like it, that's what counts for me.
So you don't mind if someone else asks for your actually compensation? No, just kidding.
I mean, money's nice. It doesn't buy happiness. Buys a lot of cool stuff.
Yes, it does. But don't be surprised if there's a few texts. Hey, man, can I have like 10%, man? Whatnot. So, royalties and whatnot. But I did want to talk to you real quickly again about the games of 2015. It's been a good year so far, a really solid year for video games. We've had the first half. We're right now in a little bit of a lull between the first half of games and the second half that are going to be, pouring out once the holiday 2015 season kicks in. There's going to be some stuff that's going to be pushed back to 2016, but it looks like a really strong close to the year. But we've had some good entries so far. Most notably Dying Light, Ori and the Blind Forest. All right, we're back. We're back?
Okay. Yeah, we keep dropping out here.
Yeah, it will be hard to do this for video, edit this video, but audio should come out just fine. But yeah, some of your prospects for 2015 that you played so far.
Like my favorite games of the year?
Yep, so far. I know you've dealt quite a bit with Batman, even besides his frustrations. It's a really solid game, per se.
Yeah, Batman was fun. It did have its frustrations. There's a lot of stuff I would complain to Rocksteady about, but you read all that on the review. As far as other games go, I haven't really played too much as far as because let's see, I played Borderlands: The Handsome Jack Collection, and I did the expansion for Halo, the ODST expansion. Both of those are pretty solid. And then, I think that's just about all I played right now.
Well, I know Ori and the Blind Forest is getting a lot of good feedback. I know Bloodborne as well. Dying Light was a pretty strong entry at the beginning of the year. But for me, it's been The Witcher 3, which has really been a solid 100-hour plus time-killing experience. Just all the stuff that you can do. There are some rudimentary things that unfortunately you do have to experience, but there's a lot of side quests that are really worth your while. And then a main quest, so it's pretty solid. Just basically the world itself, just going in there and doing all different things, makes it for a very, very interesting game and a strong contender later this year. Obviously, like I said, Ori and the Blind Forest, Bloodborne, which should get some love later on, hopefully as well, even though that's an excruciatingly hard and difficult game. It does give you something that you were saying that doesn't give you in the Batman games, and that is once you finally overcome a challenge, it definitely makes it worth your while, and you have that sense of accomplishment that you don't get all the time from these very challenging and complex games. I know with Batman, you're saying that that's one of the flaws is just that there's a lot of challenges, but unfortunately they don't give you that sense of completion once you actually do overcome them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean they have. Most a lot of people like to skip the side quests in games, and the hardest part about Batman is the fact that you have to do the side quests in order to do a lot of the game, because you have to level up your skills and your abilities, and you start to do some of these side quests, and they're nearly impossible because they're throwing like 5 different enemy types at you, and there's each of them has to be taken down a certain way, so it's hard to do all of that when you're being bombarded by all these different types of. You got guys with tasers, guys with shields, big guys. You have the gun. You're being shot at. It's just, it's no. I don't mind. It's not that I don't mind a challenging game. Just make it beatable. And then, because in the end, you have to complete all of the side quests to get the satisfying ending. I mean, a lot of people just go on YouTube and look at it, but it doesn't really give you the satisfaction as earning it. But that was really my biggest problem with Batman.
Was there too much of a reliance on the Batmobile or the back tank, as it were? Because what I've seen, I've sat down and watched a lot of streaming action, and I don't know. To me, it seems like playing the Batmobile or the back tank, even for an extended period of time, seems to get you a little bit out of the Batman experience. Am I wrong in saying that, or do you like so much of a variance to that extent?
Okay, well, I was actually thinking about that too, because you have these sandbox games. The first Amazing Spider-Man game, I don't know if you played that, the one that was on Xbox 360, but that was spectacular because you just swung all over the city, fought enemies, did whatever you want to. But if you had the option of driving like a fancy spider car and you can get there in 3 times as fast as you would by swinging, would you want to do that to save time on gameplay?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's definitely a good point.
it's a double-edged sword, really. So the vehicle, the Batmobile was awesome. It really was. It's fun to play with the battles, but just because it's there, you want to use it.
No, definitely, no doubt. But that was just my only concern with the game. I know, like you said, frustrations aside, I just was wondering, it seemed a little bit off the beaten path, and I understand Rocksteady going in that direction, as far as trying to throw a little bit more in there outside of the basic combat that Batman games lately have been so known for. That and like I said, maybe kind of seemed odd that they would add that layer of frustration in the third iteration of the game and not try to do it sooner. But you know, um, whatever the case may be, it's still a strong game indeed. It's still a very well-scored game. If you want to check out Josh's review, it is on our reviews page at yourgamesource.com. But I do want to talk more superheroes in a second. But the game that you said you were looking forward to the most in 2015 was what?
Halo 5. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Are you liking the split Master Chief and Agent Locke aspect of it, or do you think it's too much focused on Locke, or do you think it's not focused enough, one way or the other, or your thoughts on that, aspect?
That's what I'm really waiting to find out, because a lot, you play the side entries are for side characters. ODST, Reach, Halo. You can even say Halo Wars. But those are all for the side characters. So now they're taking half of the gameplay away from Master Chief and giving it to Locke. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out. Plus, you have your squad-based combat, and then obviously, there's not going to be another ODST game since they have Nathan Fillion playing in this one. There's a lot of different mechanics at play here, and I really am curious to see how it plays out. I could love it or I could hate it. That's the exciting part about it for me.
Yeah, no doubt. I couldn't agree with you more on that end. Sense. I do hope for me, No Man's Sky is that PS4 exclusive. Well, it's also tied into PC as well. That does get released this year. It's looking more and more like maybe not, but I think we'll know come Gamescom definitively what time frame it is coming out. I think that looks like a fascinating game indeed. But for me, other than that, there's still a lot of strong titles. Rise of the Tomb Raider, also as well the Gears of War remake, which I don't know. I'm a huge Gears of War fan, just like I know, Seventh Valkyrie and also Killer X Wolf are. But it would have been nice if they've had the whole series that you're trying to sell for $60, as opposed to just a special version of it at $60 and also a version of it as $40 as well for just the first one remastered. Just a little thing with me, everybody's doing remasters now. That's fine. I'm sold with me on certain ones. But it just would have been nice if they'd done the whole series, but that's just me. So, your thoughts on the Gears of War remasters?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I was, like you, I was a little upset they didn't release the rest of the game, because that's, Gears of War has always been behind Halo in terms of, what they do with stuff like that. So I'm hoping maybe in the future we can get, 2, 3, and then Judgment, or maybe in a pack together, and that way. Because you have people when Gears of War 4 comes out, you're gonna have people who never played the old ones jumping onto this just because everyone else is playing and all their friends are.
Yeah.
So you're gonna want to connect the pieces there.
Exactly. No, I had no doubt about that. I'm also, obviously a huge Uncharted fan, as you can see right there. So the Uncharted collection, seeing how well it looks on the PS4, is obviously of great interest to me as well. And at least, they are doing actually all 3 games for $60, which I commend them for. Similar to what the Halo the Master Chief collection has done as well. Mario Maker is of great interest to me, to seeing how well that's going to come out. Just some great games are coming out this fall. I look forward to it. It's going to be another strong year for gaming, I think, as long as there's not too many delays, which always inevitably seems to happen. But definitely looks like a good year so far. So Josh and I are saving our pennies right now. So hopefully you will be doing the same as well. But I do want also, before we jet on out of here, we need to talk about it because you are our superhero expert here at YourGameSource.com. Got to talk Ant-Man and see where it fits in the Marvel universe as far as from both a critical standpoint, but also as well from a financial standpoint, and whether, as you and I were talking to earlier before we started the show, is it foreshadowing for the future? So before I go ahead with my thoughts on Ant-Man, I definitely want to hear what you have to say in regards to Paul Rudd and Ant-Man.
I thought the movie was fantastic. It was because I went in not knowing what to expect from it, because you have movies like anything with Paul Rudd is it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. So it blew away my expectations. I think I'm really curious now to see what the original draft would have been like with that Edgar Wright made. But I think that a lot of people don't like it because it's not what they were expecting it to be. They were expecting, this huge superhero romp like all the other films are. But this one was more, is a heist movie using a superhero. And I think the fact that, they did a little fan appeasement by having him, that whole fight sequence with the Falcon. And did you watch the scenes after the credits?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did indeed.
So they do that whole tie-in to Civil War, and so that was interesting to me.
And the Wasp. Oh, spoilers! Sorry, getting into spoilers.
Yeah, we're bad at that. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't. The critics were really hard on it, but you can't forget that a lot of these people are the same people who said that Hayden Christensen would make a good Anakin Skywalker. So you have to take what they say with a grain of salt.
I actually, from the standpoint that you were talking about, think strongly of the film. I really enjoyed the film. I know my wife was with me, did not want to really go see the film because she thought it was going to be the superhero, fest that she has been used to, especially because my daughters are such huge Marvel fans. And so used to the big blockbuster explosion, save the galaxy, save the world, superhero type format. She liked this change of pace, and as did I. I really thought it was kind of neat where it fits in the universe. But I'm seeing the actual returns from a financial standpoint, and maybe it's just a familiarity with the character, but maybe it's a foreshadowing of what's to come for superhero movies as a whole. Is Ant-Man's success, or I don't want to say lack of success because it's still number one at the box office, but the numbers are not as big for Ant-Man. In fact, the numbers only Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe since 2008 that have come close is the Incredible Hulk. So do you think this is a foreshadowing of the future for superhero franchises as a whole, and that maybe fans are starting to, and moviegoers are starting to fatigue a little bit, get a little bit weary, a little bit tired? Maybe not as the hardcore superhero fans, but maybe from the general standpoint, the general public out there, which in turn will, as I always say, the general public is always the determining factor in what makes a hit or not.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I enjoyed about the movie, was the fact that it was, it was a different pace. It wasn't, for people who are getting fatigued at superhero movies, this was, it still took the concept of a superhero, but put him into a different environment. And I think there is no doubt, no question about it, especially with the Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad. You got DC's huge slate coming up and more Marvel movies. I think people are getting a little burnt out, so they need to try to find ways to keep it fresh. You can't just have a movie where it's like Avengers Age of Ultron. Loved it, but it really, there wasn't much substance to it. It's just explosions, people getting beat up, robots flying everywhere. There wasn't, that's the kind of movie that people are going to get burnt out on really quick if you keep doing the same formula over and over again. So is there a fatigue of superhero movies? Yes. So they need to find ways to keep it fresh if they want to keep people to go, keep going to see these movies. And if that means not alluding to the larger the universe that they're trying to build, then so be it. It's just, it's little small sacrifices.
I think the determination will be with Civil War. If Civil War does not open as strong as they hope or anticipate, and it does not become well, it's difficult to say because Captain America movies have done, they're sandwiching Thor as far as their success worldwide, as far as being in that 400 to 700 million plateau according to Box Office Mojo. If the Civil War is going to contain so many different superheroes, including Iron Man has got a lengthy bit in it, and obviously Black Widow and many others are going to be a part of it as well. So it's not just a Captain America movie per se. It's almost like a Avengers -A type of film. So maybe the expectations, I believe, are going to be a little bit higher because of that. And for me, if the financial expectations aren't matched, I think that's going to be a strong indicator for that audiences are just beginning to a little bit tire out and need to recharge on the superhero franchises.
Yeah, definitely. And you have with Captain America, the Civil War, there is a lot of expectations, but even the thing Marvel's kind of dug a hole for themselves, because even if these movies don't pay out financially, they've already announced all these movies that they're putting into production, so they have to finish them anyways. So the trick now is to just show us something new. Like I love the last Captain America because it's like it's like a spy movie. That was really good. And then now they're taking Captain America and basically turning it into another Avengers film. So that's my big fear, is that's just going to be all of our favorite heroes beating the crap out of each other instead of giving us a story, something interesting.
Well, and from that aspect, I mean, will the Civil War itself be something that fans want to see, or is it something that they just don't really want to see the infighting that the comic books have made so famous? And that's when you're talking about the comic book audience and you're talking about the movie audience, when they're said that they're segmented and they're different and they should be approached to differently. That's I think that next year when the Civil War comes out, that might be one determination of how you should approach it, because whereas the Civil War might be appealing to the comic book audience, it may not be as appealing to the general audience at large. Am I correct in saying that, or?
Oh, I think you're completely correct. Because look at the Civil War came out in 2000s, and you have about 50 years of comic history to go back. So all the readers, they were ready for this. But you have the people who are just now getting in, who don't read comic books, who are all they know about the heroes are what they see in the Marvel films. So you have, personally, I think it's too soon to do a Civil War type story, especially since there's, you have a very small selection of superheroes to fight each other.
I couldn't agree with more, and but it's already underway. It's already being filmed, and then I think next year is going to be a key indicator, because then you start to have Suicide Squad, you have Batman versus Superman, and you've got Doctor Strange coming out soon as well. Beyond that, I think we are going to see some pushback from audiences. It's a question of when. It's not a question. It's no longer to me a question if. It's a question of when. One of these films is going to really feel the brunt of it. The Fantastic Four could feel the brunt of it right away, because that's coming next month to, I don't know, I don't want to say it's coming up with a lot of hype, because it's, to me, in my opinion, it's not coming in with a lot of hype. Your thoughts on the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, besides the controversy of changing the races of these characters, there's not really been a whole lot of hype about it. I've seen, they have a few trailers. They played a trailer during Ant-Man, but I don't think people are really excited to see it. it looks cool. I'm excited to see it, but I don't think it's getting the hype that say Fox's X-Men franchise is getting.
And even if there's going to be some point in time where there's an X-Men rub-off that I've heard that's possible for both franchises, that they'll work with each other, I don't think that gives the same allure as let's say the Spider-Man Marvel relationship or anything of that nature. I don't think it gives that same type of buzz. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's been plenty of cases in the comic books where the X-Men and Fantastic Four fight together, but it's not something that people are really, it's not something people like line up for to buy a comic book of it. It's not like having the Avengers all fight together on screen.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case, and I think that at some point in time, it could be starting with Fantastic Four, that audiences really start letting these movie companies know that maybe they want to push back a little bit on all these superhero releases. So, well, any last thoughts before we head on out? More plugs for Vendetta Dark or anything you got coming up, coming soon. As far as it's concerned.
Yeah, not at the moment. I got working on another book right now, but I'm still pushing Vendetta Dark. So if that sounds like a novel that interests you guys, I would definitely appreciate, any if you were to pick one up and any feedback you have on it. Yeah. Besides that, that's all I really got.
But you said you might be actually sending your thoughts our way that we can post up regarding Ant-Man as a whole.
Yes, I will elaborate on Ant-Man. I'm working on that right now too.
Sweet. And the Guardians of the Geek. Hopefully, I know some people have been asking about it, so hopefully that's still coming down. And I know I won't be available, unfortunately, for this next screening per se, this next taping. But I know the Guardians of the Geek. You've got more Guardians willing to guard that geekness, as it were. Correct?
We are protecting your subculture one geek at a time.
Fair enough. So that means more episodes on the way. That's always great to hear and see. I know you've gotten some good feedback on that, and we truly appreciate everything you do for the site. And also, you want to check out Josh's YouTube as well, because the Guardians of the Geek are there in first run capacity. So we are just as far as it's concerned, we get the good love right after he gets to show it and premiere it on his site. We get it right thereafter as well. So if you miss it here, you can go check it out there. You can go you miss it there, go check it. So it's just all this Guardians of Geek love. It's always good to hear and see. So exactly. But and then shout out again to my friends Jay and Rob. Hope everything's going well. They're doing actually a screening probably right about now in Houston for Nintendo Quest. You get a chance, check out nintendoquest.com for screening in your area for the rest of this year. And if you don't see one in your area, you can actually get some friends together and request one through tugg.com. If you get over 100 people, then you will actually have a screening of Nintendo Quest in your area, wherever in the country. So I guess that's going to do it for us. If you get a chance, check us out, yourgamesource.com. All the great stuff. We just put up a couple of reviews for Victor Brand and also as well for Lost Dimension. Appreciate Sam and also as well Mr. Aaron, OSU Water Polo, the cheery guy that he is himself, for posting those reviews with us. He also did a couple great reviews you can check out on our reviews page as well last week that you need to check out. We've got other stuff coming on the way from Corey. I've got also Doug from Retro City Games taking a look at a couple games, and hopefully some stuff from Jay and Rob as well. A lot of good things to look forward to. But once again, want to thank Josh for being a part of the program. And, well, any last words? I know you said last words, but any last words?
Any last words? No, like I said, Vendetta Dark's out now. It's available at a number of different places. I would greatly appreciate anyone who picked up a copy of it.
Sweet. Give him a shout out if you have. It's a great read. That's Vendetta Dark at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and also for the Kindle and Nook reading devices. So for Josh, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Josh Peterson, this is Gerald, better known as Yes, Elvis Lives. Want to thank you for watching, And thank you for listening. And it's now Betty Bye time for us here at Game Source.
Good nights.
Another beautiful day in paradise.
Do you love games, breathe games, and bleed games? Then this is the crew for you. If you are interested in editorial, podcasting, live events, and exclusive content, make sure to hit us up at info@yourgamesource.com and become part of a team that is dedicated to delivering all the greatest and latest in gaming news and content, all here at yourgamesource.com.